And we are live.
Welcome back to Checkpoint, your #1 show, rounding up all the hottest, not modest, gaming news stories of the week. I'm one of your hosts, James Walmer, joined by my amazing co-host and the muse of my creativity, Vincent DeSantis.
Wow, welcome. Hi. How's everybody doing? What's good, James?
Dude, I am almost done with Persona 5. So I think. It's one of those games, Vin, that once you think you're done, but you're nowhere near from being done.
Okay.
So I don't know whether I'm about to go through this whole cycle of okay, I'm almost done, and then it's gonna.
And there's
like
5 hours.
Here's another thing, and then there's another 5, 6.
Are they gonna Red Dead you, or there's you finish a story and then there's an extra 15 hours to play, like a 15-hour epilogue?
They might. I think they might.
Okay.
I really think they might.
It was honestly a good surprise when that happened. I was like, oh, awesome, I'm all in.
Mm-hmm. Also, I saw a tweet the other day from one of the journalists we follow, and he was saying that Arthur Morgan is the best protagonist of the last 10 years, and I was like, wow.
I think he's a really good protagonist. The big flaw in that game is that they want to give you choice for Arthur, where sometimes I felt like that choice, whether that be good or bad things, Arthur's still going to carry on with his story, his life path. And so it felt, I don't know. He's a great protagonist, though. It's just not, I don't know if he's the best, but he's great. Sure. And I do think about the Red Dead 2 story a lot because I think the Red Dead 2 story is very, very good.
Who would be your best? Nathan Drake?
No, Nathan Drake's not deep enough. I don't know. This is tough.
This is a very on-the-spot question. I don't mean to really put you
Maybe Joel. Maybe Joel from The Last of Us.
Oh.
That's a complex character.
Yeah, very complex character.
I was telling people that they're not going to like seeing Pedro Pascal. Pedro Pascal plays a good guy in literally everything, okay? Okay, Joel's a bad guy. Joel's not a good guy.
Joel's a bad guy.
So I don't know if people aren't going to like that very much, but...
I actually saw a tweet about that. It
really?
was from Imran Khan.
Really?
Imran Khan was saying, I can't wait to see, Pedro... Or he said, it's hard for me to imagine Pedro Pascal being someone to hate.
Right. Wait, I didn't even know he was in Kingsman. Pedro Pascal. That's what chat's saying.
What? Except Kingsman? I
don't
didn't
know
know he was in Kingsman either.
Me neither. Oh well. This is not Freeze Frame. If you like movies and want to talk more about movies, we do have a podcast called Freeze Frame that goes live every Saturday on Twitch, and I think also every Saturday on podcast platforms, or it might go live on Sunday on podcast platforms. But that's not what you're here for. Today, you are here for the latest and greatest in gaming news. James, what have you been playing this week before we get into this?
Persona 5, baby. Persona 5. That's it. That's all I need.
Perfect. And you're almost done.
Yeah, I'm I think I'm 120 hours in.
Jesus Christ. All I've played this week is I played a little Red Dead Online. I re-downloaded Red Dead.
Really?
I know we were talking about it, and it because they added all these different paths. You could become a bounty hunter and a collector, all this kind of stuff. And I have not played online since the game first came out. So I jumped into that and played for 3.5 hours as a bounty hunter. And it was super fun. I had a great time, and I'm definitely going to play more of it for sure. So
also, quick thing. After Persona 5, the next game I have planned after that is Nier Automata.
How long is that game?
I think it's roughly 20, 30 hours, but there's multiple endings.
So for James, that's a week and a half with the amount of time he's putting in Persona, right? Let's go, baby.
Something like that. Come on now.
Let's go.
Come on now.
Let's go. But yeah, other than that, I really haven't been playing any other games.
Okay.
So.
Oh, I also re-downloaded Destiny 2.
Yeah, you did. And we're about to talk about some Destiny 2 stuff in a little bit. I cannot wait to get into that. Holy crap.
Do you want to talk about our experience with it first before that, or do you want to wrap it all into...
Our Destiny 2 experience?
Yeah, or at least just recently.
I say we wait, because we have a Twitter reaction section. I feel like we can be the voices in that as well.
Okay.
Big time.
All right.
But, guys, yesterday we got a Nintendo Direct, okay? A very
okay.
A very mediocre,
Direct.
okay Nintendo Direct. But I was pretty damn excited for it. I had a screen open. I was in class during this. Yeah, Cheesy's putting Z's in the chat. We're just going to go through some of our favorite parts of it. There is no need to recap this entire thing. If you're that interested, please go watch your Miitopia trailer over and over again, okay?
Or Triangle Strategy.
Which looked beautiful.
It's very pretty.
Yeah. But
it's
that's
just
it.
XCOM.
But that's your shit, James. XCOM's your shit.
XCOM is my shit. I will say that. I love XCOM.
Yeah. Okay, James, what did we get? What was your okay, just you know what? Tell me your favorite part of the direct. If there's anything worth mentioning. That's all I need to know.
Splatoon. Okay, here's the thing. The big thing was Splatoon at the end. Even though this was well, like, hold on. I'm saying like the biggest thing I think objectively was Splatoon. Even though they said these are all games that are coming out next year or this year. And then Splatoon
2022.
And you're like, what the fuck? Okay. I guess it was Skyward Sword HD.
That's big. That's big to me.
Also, the Joy-Cons looked really cool.
Oh, and the special edition for Monster Hunter of the actual Switch was awesome. I was like,
really
oh my god.
Considering buying the Pro controller.
Yeah, because it has the like dragon thing on it. It's so sick. I love it.
Super cool.
But I mean, the thing that surprised me about the direct was this neon white game that looked super fun. It was like first person.
That looked really fun.
Because it reminds me of Ghost Runner. It looks like you have to go through all these things, kill all these people. If you die, you restart. And there's like different cards you got to pick up for like different weapons. Like I was
like every attack is a card that you pick up.
Yeah.
I assume you can't attack without a card.
Right. So it's like not only strategic, but very fast paced kind of like thing like that. So I was very interested in that. Well, we also got Star Wars Arena multiplayer Hunters.
Dude, you texted me out of nowhere, just Hunters in all caps.
Yeah,
and
I did.
Was like, are you talking about like Monster Hunter, or are you talking about like, what are you saying? And you said Star Wars.
Star Wars Hunters. In the moment, James, I was hyped. I was like, this is gonna be really cool. Free to play, so the audience base is gonna be big. Star Wars third-person shooter multiplayer. But then I started thinking to myself, imagine people's connection trying to play this on the Switch. They're going to be playing this at their grandma's house, like on the way to their grandma's house on their mom's Wi-Fi hotspot. So think of any sort of competitive player connection here is going to be trash. Also, it's developed by someone that primarily does apps on the App Store. So let's think about this. Microtransactions and like the way this plays is really going to suck. I would also assume that it might have touchscreen controls. Yeah. Or not touchscreen controls, but you know what I'm talking about? Like gimmicky controls. There's a word for it that I'm totally missing. Anyways, it's going to be gimmicky. It's not going to be as good as I want it to be. So there's that.
Yeah. I thought Mario Golf Super Rush looked like so much fun.
James, here's what I want. I want Switch Sports. It sounds stupid.
Me too.
But I'm serious.
Yes.
James, I just want to bowl. I want to feel something again, okay? It's been so long. So many years.
They just need to take Wii Sports and put it on the Switch. They don't even have to rename it or anything.
You're 100% correct. Give me Resorts too, because I've loved dogfighting.
I just want the swords.
Who's the guy that you fight at the end of it all the time? Like,
no idea.
Swords, you try to push them off the edge and they fall over, and there's always the boss. And it's the bald guy, and you just... You know what I mean? Oh my god. Those were the days. Simpler times.
Those were the days.
But honestly, the only other thing we have here was Skyward Sword, and...
Oh! Sorry, this has nothing to do with the direct
before
itself.
Skyward Sword, yes.
Okay, so I was talking about... Me and my buddies were watching the stream, we were like, oh, what's on your wish list? And so we talked about, the Metroid Prime 4, we talked about Breath of the Wild 2, all the things that we thought we were going to get, maybe Switch Pro.
Yes.
But I said, I want them to port or remaster an old GameCube game called Chibi Robo.
Okay.
And no one remembers this game.
Okay.
But it was this game where you play as a little metallic robot, like this big.
Okay.
And you go around this family's house, and you have a plug dangling behind you.
Yeah.
And so throughout the game, you're continuously expending electricity. So every now and again, you have to plug yourself in or you die.
To recharge?
Yes, to recharge.
Okay.
A little animation and thing. and it's really interesting because as you're playing the game and going through it, you're like, it's a very like real family, and there's some really deep, dark stuff that this family's like.
And this was on what again? GameCube?
GameCube. And I didn't know this, but apparently it's super rare.
The game?
Yes.
Do you still have a copy of it?
I have it.
Let's go. Let's go. You'll have to bring it in show and tell next episode.
Apparently it's like $200.
Keep holding
game.
it.
Yeah.
Keep holding it.
I don't have the case, but I do have the game.
That's all that counts. You can play it. You can play it if you got the game. Before we move on to Zelda, we also have Cheesy in chat, who's a big Ninja Gaiden stan. For 1 through 3 is getting an HD, not remastered. It's just HD. You know what I mean? It's not like a remaster or a remake. It's just they're slapping that little HD on there. They brought it from 360.
On the pig.
They put it's like a 360 video game, and then they just zoomed in to 1080, and they're like, HD baby, here you go, let's go. Okay. And then Skyward Sword. How did you? No, sorry,
I didn't play it. Did you play it?
I've never played Skyward Sword, which makes me excited to play it on the Switch.
Sure, I'm not gonna lie. Even the gameplay that I saw was not compelling.
Did you play Twilight Princess?
Of course, I played Twilight Princess.
I hear that Skyward Sword is like Breath of the Wild beta. It's like,
oh my god, people are saying it's the worst Zelda game.
No, but the things that they brought into Skyward Sword were made perfect in Breath of the Wild, but those ideas were there in Skyward Sword first, such as like stamina bar, different like not just I guess stamina bar. I guess that's about it. Just kidding. I don't know all the things, but I am excited to play it because it's cool. I like Zelda a lot. I have not played all the Zelda games. Okay. Literally, Link to the Past is S tier for me, and I've played the first 2.
We have hope. Then we have a glimmer, a very small, slim, just a little sliver of hope, which is that the anniversary of Zelda, is not until either Sunday or Monday. I think.
What do you think? You think our boy's gonna pop out here in another video and say, "I'm sorry, we have no news for Breath of the Wild 2, and you're gonna have to wait." But no. What do you think is gonna happen? Tell me.
This is not what I think is gonna happen. This is simply a Hail Mary wish that if it comes true, I will shit my pants and sit in it.
Tell me, I'm waiting. God.
I'm just prefacing that I don't think this is gonna happen.
Okay.
I want, because Mario got an anniversary collection, I'm hoping that The Legend of Zelda also gets some sort of anniversary.
What would be included in this anniversary collection? In your dream?
In my dream, I can only think of 2. Because I only play previously 2 Zelda games? Other than starting off, it would be Wind Waker and
in the anniversary.
Yes.
I want to play Twilight Princess again so badly. You have no idea.
Did you ever play Wind Waker?
I've never played Wind Waker in my life.
Wind Waker is infinitely, I think, in a lot of ways better than Twilight Princess. But Twilight Princess is scary.
Dude, because they weren't trying to go cartoony. They were trying to get more realistic with Twilight Princess.
Was scary.
And so it's that weird in between of like, this is scary as hell. Like everything. Even
and it's like dark too.
Yeah. I haven't played it.
The whole game is just like tonally dark.
I saw a buddy streaming it from his Wii U the other day, and I was like, oh my God, I need this on Switch. I need to play this again. I will say though about Skyward Sword, I think it's very weird that they changed the controls. Obviously on Wii you had the nunchuck and the dealio to like swing the sword. You can do that with the Switch Pro or the Switch Joy-Cons. If you're not using the Joy-Cons and you're using the controller, the right stick is how you swing your sword. You don't click like square to swing.
Yes.
You swing it with the stick. I'm like,
because it's directionally focused.
Right. That's some Zelda ass stuff right there. If I've ever heard it. But
I just looked up more Zelda games, and I think it would have to be, for the third one, it would probably be Ocarina of Time. Well, it's hard though because Ocarina of Time and Majora's Mask got 3D re-releases on the 3DS.
Yeah, and we already have Link's Awakening 3D also, or that like remake. Remember?
Yeah, but
which I do want to play
those
eventually.
are for 3DS. You know what I mean? So it's like it's in that weird in between. It's like, oh, we're not gapping the original, but also no one really has. I mean, the people who are really into like Nintendo games have a 3DS, but like the people like me who are mainly like home console sort of people didn't experience it.
Yeah.
Right. Anyway, that's all Also, I'm hoping the same thing will happen on Metroid's anniversary, which is in August.
Right, because I know a lot of people were disappointed without any mention of new Metroid stuff.
I was one of those people.
Yeah, big rip. I hope that Nintendo learns from this direct and we come back with a stronger next direct. It doesn't have to be 50 minutes.
A
James.
next what?
What'd I say?
Erect?
I said erect? No, I said Nintendo Direct. Nintendo Direct.
I heard next. Anyway.
Did I say next erect?
Yes.
Wow. Wow, I'm gonna have to get a clip of that. Jesus Christ. Okay, anyways, the next direct. Anyways, Nintendo Direct gets me erect. That's what Cheesy says in chat. Nice. This one did not get me anywhere near that point. Okay. Big news. James, do you have anything else to say about the Direct, or are you just moving on?
No, we're moving on.
If you're super interested in it, just go watch the 50 minutes. You know what I mean? It's one of those. Okay. Yeah. Boom. This is big to me. This is big to me. Bungie to expand the world of Destiny and other media avenues. James, Bungie is expanding not only its company size, but what it's doing, what its goals and its IPs. It's expanding everything possible. So here's what we got. Now, the original article we referenced here is Business Wire, and this is the actual business plan of like what's happening. But I also am quoting from the IGN article, which also quotes from the Business Wire article. So we're doing a little bit of both here, just to do it. So here we go.
Double dipping.
Bungie has started an expansion of its studio headquarters, with a facility being built to focus partly on creating games that are not Destiny. The news was revealed in a press release from Bungie, which revealed the expansion. The land expansion will increase Bungie's HQ footprint from 84,000 square feet to more than 208,000 square feet. This is going to be it's like a block. This is going to be a city block of Bungie, okay?
Yeah.
Estimated to be complete by fall 2022, the move is part of Bungie's commitment to the long-term development of Destiny 2. The studio also plans to use the new space to tell new stories in the Destiny universe, to create entirely new worlds to be announced IPs. Particularly, Bungie plans to bring at least one new IP to the market before 2025. So we're getting a new Bungie game to be released before 2025. That's not Destiny.
Interesting. But it takes place in the Destiny universe?
Unclear.
Okay.
Outside of games themselves, there appears to be a focus on new media and multimedia IP expansion based on the talent Bungie is hiring. While expanding the Destiny universe could involve more games, it could also spread beyond this medium into others such as TV, film, and more. Now, James, before I get into some of these Destiny content creator reactions to this news, I want to ask you, would you even be interested in watching whether it's a live action or animated show set in the Destiny universe?
Not only would I be interested in it, but I think a lot of people who want more out of Destiny would also love it as well. I think actually that it would fill a lot of the gaps in the game for the more hardcore RPG people like myself who like the lore and the nitty gritty. But I also don't want to sift through audio logs and spend an hour listening to audio log after audio log. I can watch a show or a web series, whatever it is, and I can get context for what's going on, and I can know about these things that happen as they're so frequently referenced. You know, I feel like playing Destiny can sometimes feel like you're watching a prequel trilogy film, right?
Yeah.
And then like you're looking but without the Clone Wars, it's like
right.
You're like, who the hell's Darth Tyrannus? But then when you watch Clone Wars and like, oh, Darth Tyrannus is like this huge thing that this huge deal.
Yeah. Because here's the thing, Destiny has so much lore. Like, there's so much lore. There's so much they could do with a show. Now, yes, you're right. The lore is all there, and you can figure out the lore, but that is by reading things. It's not the way I want to experience that lore. So I think it could be very interesting to see this, especially if we get that. Okay, so on Twitter, like the last week or two, the guy that plays Zavala, I forget his name, but the guy that plays Zavala, he's in John Wick. He's in the Continental. That guy. He goes on and he's been recording voices like of Zavala, like videos, like people write scripts for him and he'll read them like as Zavala. It's so cool. And I could totally see him playing Zavala. Lance Riddick, thank you, writer in chat.
Yep.
I could totally see him playing his own character that he voices because he could be built like him and like they could do
Just paint him blue, baby.
Yeah, paint him blue, do all this stuff. Like it would be so sick. So I don't know. I'd be totally down for that kind of stuff. But more importantly, I really want Destiny 3. But here we go, James.
Maybe a little like Cade 6 backstory sort of thing.
I'm all in. I would love that.
Cade 6 series, that'd be cool.
Yeah, I would love that. Okay, here's a couple reactions coming from some big content creators in the Destiny community. This comes from Datto, which is probably the most popular Destiny content creator.
Destiny,
yeah. He says this, and these are just from tweets that I read of theirs. So it's not like they wrote an article or anything. Datto says, I was told half of the studio has moved on to their new IP and that Destiny is on a skeleton crew. And let me tell you that I am outraged that I was lied to about this. So Datto is very unhappy. He feels like this expansion is lessening the team that's working on Destiny, and the rest of the team will be doing other things for Bungie. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
This comes from Paul Tassi, who's another. He does a lot of news on Twitter too, gaming news. He says HQ size is nearly tripling. Luke Smith is like the creative director of, co-creative director with Mark. I don't know Mark's last name. Luke and Mark are staying on to oversee the expansion of Destiny for the highly engaged community, bringing on multimedia people, implying possible projects outside of just games. Let's see that Destiny Netflix show. Gonna take credit for personally funding this by spending $45 a season on Eververse ornaments. That's what he says.
That's gonna be me.
And then Aztec Cross, who's another awesome. Aztec Cross is hilarious. He says, fellas, Bungie is about to double/triple their size. We've been concerned about their focus on Destiny, but this confirms they are actually doubling down on Destiny. Being a multi-studio developer will allow them to stagger releases. Destiny has its flaws, but I can see us playing this game until 2030.
Okay, here's an issue I have with that take. I mean, that sounds a little harsh. I don't mean to say that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't sound like they're increasing the team size for Destiny the game.
They're just increasing Bungie. Yeah.
Right. So it feels like they're moving towards the multimedia route instead of like just focusing on the game. And like Destiny has so many issues right now that need to be addressed. And so
100%.
This doesn't give me any peace of mind that things like the terrible cheating that's been going on in Crucible is going to be fixed anytime soon. The community's been incredibly vocal about people like just blatantly like walking through walls and stuff like that for years.
I do think that part of this, I'm reading on Business Wire right now.
Okay.
It says Bungie's expansion is to increase the commitment to the long-term development of Destiny 2. Like that's a point that is made on the business plan. Plus, like in addition to tell new stories in the Destiny universe and create entirely new worlds to be announced IPs. So in this business plan, when they're talking about the expansion, the first thing they mention is the long-term development of Destiny 2 before the new IP stuff. So I feel like there's hope. There is hope. And I do love Destiny. I'm burnt right now. I'm burnt to the point where like I don't feel like it's worth it necessarily unless the next expansion goes on sale and I have friends to play with. Because I really love playing Destiny with friends, but I don't have like a core fire team that I can always jump into whenever with. So
hopefully this also means that Destiny gets a new engine soon. Because
will it?
It's an old engine, man.
But James, here's the thing.
We see games.
So is so many of these games of service games. You know what I'm talking about? Like they're not going to change engines. That's going to be a Destiny 3 thing, and
we're never going to get Destiny 3.
We're not going to get it. It's just going to keep on evolving Destiny 2.
Yeah. I think I just hate games as a service.
Really? Altogether?
Altogether.
I think I like them. I just don't have time for them. That's the problem.
I despise them.
Dude, if I was 13 years old again, are you kidding me? This is a great time to play games. There's so many games of service games that I would have time to play all the time. Mm-hmm. But I am definitely here for short stories now. I will play. I love that a 20-hour story in a video game. Very happy. Very happy. Okay. Do you have anything else to add on Bungie?
No, I'm looking forward to the show.
If there is one.
Yeah, I mean that's
It
kind of
sounds like there is one. Yeah.
yeah, or whatever they're planning. But
Yeah.
yeah,
Cool.
Finn, you want to read this next one too?
Sure. Yeah, I'll take this next one.
Mm-hmm.
All right. Next up, you guys, backwards compatible games get a frames per second boost feature on the Xbox Series X and S. This comes from Great White & Co. I've never heard of this website before, but they were the only ones that could summarize it well to me. So I was like, this is fine. Since they announced backwards compatibility on the Xbox One, Microsoft has been very proactive in making a majority of their vast library of games available on modern consoles, something they're absolutely destroying Sony on, in my opinion. Today, Microsoft has announced a new feature that can take advantage of the console's increased CPU, GPU, and memory. This new feature is called FPS Boost. FPS Boost can double or quadruple the original frame rate on select backwards compatible titles. Before you get all excited and start loading up games from your backlog, this is still early on in execution, and only 5 games are being given this special treatment to start. Starting today, you can play Far Cry 4, New Super Lucky's Tale, Sniper Elite 4, UFC, and Watch Dogs 2, all dead games, on your Xbox Series X and S to see smoother frame rates. Microsoft has also stated that a lot of the upcoming FPS Boost games will be available on Xbox Game Pass. So, this is a software thing. They're running it game by game basis, which is super weird.
Yeah.
Enzo says, Watch Dogs is dead? No way. I can't tell if he's sarcastic or not, but yes, I would say Watch Dogs 2 is dead. Nothing's happening over there. But no, this is cool. I want Sony to be able to implement something like this too. Sounds like this is a move for Xbox to just seem like they're one step ahead again, where none of these games people are playing regularly anyways. This is super like case specific if you play one of these games. So
yes. Mm-hmm.
I don't know if I'm about it.
It just isn't super compelling to me. Like, it's nice for people who already own these systems, but if you don't, it's no reason to go out and buy an Xbox Series X or S. Maybe for Xbox Series S.
Yeah.
I can totally see it for
James,
S.
Are you going to download Sniper Elite 4 for these boosted frame rates?
4, but I mean...
What else?
Once they get bigger titles.
Yeah, once they get bigger titles. Wait, who knows when that's happening, though?
Yeah, I don't know. I think they just do that so they don't run into an NVIDIA Shield situation.
You think that's why they're doing this?
I don't know. Yes, maybe.
I think they have plenty of
You think they're just carrying the stick on the rope?
Yeah.
Or not the carrot on a stick? You think this is a carrot on a stick?
I think it's there. It's a carrot.
It's
there.
A carrot.
It's a carrot.
This is fucking candy corn.
No, it's who's playing these games, James? Who is this for?
No one. That's why I said it's a candy corn. No one likes candy corn.
I like candy corn. Candy corn's pretty good. Yeah, I don't know. We'll see. Maybe in a couple months they release a whole batch of games that are like this. But right now, I don't get it. I don't understand. Okay, keep going. Everybody's disagreeing with me.
I think it's more the fact they don't have games to play already, so they're like, here games go probably played, but now HD. LOL. Okay. Yeah. I have nothing else to say. We're moving on. Amazon's New World MMO delayed again. Again. The sites need to include compelling endgame features at launch. I wrote in here as a joke, but I'm going to read it anyway. LOL racist colonialism game go brr.
Go brr.
Go brr.
Yeah.
If you do not remember, this game was also under criticism earlier on this year because beta players were saying that a lot of the game is just colonialism and has references to like basically overpowering indigenous people and things like that.
Not a good look. Not a good look at all.
Not a good look at all. So initially pushed for May 2020 to spring 2021, AGS or Amazon Game Studios is now shooting for August 31st. We're just gonna keep going.
Amazon Game Studios is such a meme now, dude. They're like Stadia. All right, keep going.
Yeah, August 31st, 2021. Closed beta will begin on July 20th for players who have pre-ordered the game, as if anyone's going to pre-order this garbage. Primary reason they said for the delay was lack of endgame content, which seems to be the downfall of all of these open world MMOs and MMO-like games. My take, that being said, I don't have high hopes for this game or really Amazon Game Studios in general. Finn, if you don't have a lot to say on this, which...
there's not much to say, yeah, but...
We also forgot to cover the what happened with Stadia in the last few weeks.
We did not. We covered that.
We did?
Yeah, the Stadia Game Studios are shutting down. James, we had a really good conversation about that. James, we had like a 30-minute discussion on that. It was really good.
I'm sorry. I'll go back and watch it.
No, it's if we got a new piece of Stadia news this week that we don't have that on the dock today, but Stadia is putting 100 games on their service by the end of 2021. None of which will be original.
Who?
I don't know who's agreeing to put their games on Stadia. Wouldn't be me.
No.
But it's there. It is there. So, yeah, if you want it, there it is. Okay, right, guys, we have a little bit of discussing to do.
Yeah, we do.
We want to be real with you guys. Last week was a little tough for our 6 days in Fallujah controversy, okay? James, can you explain your grievances to chat?
I don't know what happened, Vin. I tried to... Okay, here's the thing. I tried to write this news up, and when I came into, I was like, fuck this game. Like, I really
Last week? That was last week.
So, like, that was my intent going into it. That I'm gonna, like, represent this news, like, fuck this game, I don't want to play it. And somehow I'm talking with Vin today, and he's like, remember we all said this game was cool until today? And I was like, what? I don't remember that at all.
James, you're wrong. You're wrong right now.
What? Why? How?
James, you presented this game as if it was...
I know. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying I meant to present it in the opposite way. But the way that it came out on, like, when I was reading it, I don't know. I think I was just trying to give it the benefit of the doubt.
Sure. And then you convinced yourself through our dialogue that it was going to be a good thing.
I got lost in the sauce.
You got lost in the sauce. I got lost in the sauce. But last time...
Who am I, Vin?
Who are you?
Who am I?
God, douse yourself in water, James. Just kidding. Don't do it. Don't do it.
Can you imagine?
You would. You would.
Oh my God.
Anyways, if we're talking about this, guys, here's the dealio. Last week, just to give you the TLDR, too long didn't read, baby, because I love saying that now after I found out what it means. I've gone 10 years not understanding what that meant. Okay, 6 days in Fallujah. Last week, we were convincing each other that this was going to be a good thing to play, okay? That this would be a positive thing to play about the real life events of something that may have happened. And we were talking about that more of these types of games should be made. As we've done more research on this.
Stupid!
And been more...
Stupid!
I'm gonna say that I've changed my mind a little bit. James, you've changed your mind more than I have. So go ahead and convince me that I'm wrong, please.
I'll tell you all about it. In an interview with Polygon on Thursday, developer Highwire Games says the game... Sorry, looks like a lot, Vin. I know you're saying, like...
James wrote an essay on 6 Days of Fallujah. He probably could turn this in for 100-point projects.
There's so much. I did summarize.
It's 10 pages long. Just kidding. Okay, give it.
It's all quotes. It's all quotes.
Go for it.
Okay. In an interview with Polygon on Thursday, developer Highwire Games says the game will, quote, not grapple with political machinations. Is that how you pronounce that right? Machinations?
Yeah. Political machinations.
That led to the titular conflict. Instead, context. Sorry, just go.
We're never gonna get through this.
This game's about the Iraq War. Anyway.
Specifically...
The Battle of Fallujah.
Yeah, right.
Right, which is super controversial. Like...
Correct.
Over 1,000 civilians died. War crimes were committed.
And we mentioned that last time, remember? We mentioned the war crimes.
And so the concern is that they're like totally trying to depoliticize something that is definitely political, or they're trying to propagate it for the purposes of the U.S. military.
Right.
I'm gonna continue.
Please.
Instead, their first-person shooter. This is still in the quote from
Yep.
the developer Highwire Games. The first-person shooter will try to engender empathy for American troops in the field for their work destroying the insurgents that dug in throughout Fallujah and for civilians trapped in between. End quote. That is a propaganda-ass statement.
Read the propaganda-ass statement again for me one more time.
Instead, so will not grapple with the political machinations that led to the titular conflict. Instead, the first-person shooter will try to engender empathy for American troops in the field for their work destroying the insurgents that dug throughout Fallujah and for the civilians trapped in between.
Who wrote that?
That is the quote from what is his name? It's somewhere in the article.
But that's not the developer of the game.
Yes, it is.
Okay, then there might be a little issue there.
That is the developer of the game.
Yeah, might be little issues.
Continuing on. I think reasonable people can disagree with that. This is still from the developer, Highwire Games.
Sure.
I think reasonable people can disagree with that. For us as a team, it's really about helping players understand the complexity of urban combat. It's about the
urban combat.
Yeah. It's about the experiences that individual is now there because of political decisions, and we do want to show how choices that are made by policymakers affect the choice that a Marine needs to make on the battlefield. Just as that Marine cannot second guess the choices by the policymakers, we're not trying to make a game about political commentary about whether or not the war itself was a good or bad idea.
So,
end quote.
Right. And this is where the controversy started years ago. I just don't, the part that I don't understand, like we could go through all this, right? We can go through all these quotes about why people are upset about it. But this is the second time people have been upset about this game. I don't know what changed from however many years ago where this started versus now. Now, I will say, I watched the trailer. Did you watch the trailer for 6 Days?
I did watch the trailer.
Okay. I didn't see anything wrong with the trailer besides the interviews that they had with the veterans, I guess, with the vets. I found that to be
when we talk, like pretty much the whole, because it doesn't show like anything in the gameplay. It just shows guys going into
it's just cinematic
houses.
Right.
Yeah.
So okay, all right, hear me out here a little bit. Right. When we talked about this last week, we talked about how this game's goal was to come out with an unbiased opinion and
you're right.
to be like more of educational about what happened here, in which I would be okay with this. But because this is skewed to make war crimes seem okay, basically, and to emphasize with, or not empathize with the people who did those war crimes, is making this a lot less of a draw for me. Maybe no draw at all anymore for me.
And I think it makes it more bad, for lack of a better word.
Sure. Yeah.
So like Charlie Hall, the guy who wrote this article, is saying like this is the same BS we heard from like these other game devs who make war games before. Compares it to Division 2, but he said that's different because the game's conflict is wholly fictional.
Yeah.
But at the same time, I don't get how they're not interested in portraying the alleged atrocities that may have been, like they said they're not interested in portraying the alleged atrocities.
Right. So what's the point if they're not going to show both sides? Yeah.
Right. Like, how can you make a game that accurately portrays this conflict without acknowledging what was there? Peter Tampt, who is the guy who is the representative from Highwire, was also questioned about the use of white phosphorus, which goes against the Geneva Convention.
Yep.
And so he said I have two concerns with including phosphorus as a weapon. Number one, it's that it's not a part of the stories that these guys told us. Of course they're not. Anyway, so I don't have an authentic, he said, so I don't have an authentic factual basis on which to tell that. Even though the U.S. military has talked about their shake and bake methods before. That's most important, continuing on the article. Number two is, I don't want sensational types of things to distract from the parts of that experience.
Which is the opposite. I feel like they're adding this for a new sensation in the game. I don't get that at all. But
I don't either. Further quote, make it sound like Highwire's intent with the game is to drive curiosity in players for them to do their own research on the war to develop their own opinions. And while this statement seems harmless, if you don't portray the entire truth, then you're only allowing people to have opinions on the part that are being portrayed to them.
Sure. Now, to play devil's advocate, that's with anything. So that's like any type of game where you're only seeing one side of things. But,
sure, but I'm like, I'm against it. Like, I'm not saying this one specific case it's bad. Like, yeah, I mean, I was reading more stuff about this too, and they were talking about even how like Modern Warfare is like does this too, and people have just like kind of been like, oh, well, like, okay, like it hasn't been. I maybe saw one article about it in for Modern Warfare's case.
Sure. Okay.
Going on, Daniel Ahmad.
But that's also fictional stories.
It is like yes, that is fictional stories, but in Modern Warfare's case, it's like fictional, but also portrays like real things. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like it. Anyway, Daniel Ahmad, Vin and I follow him on Twitter a lot for a very credible gaming journalist. He said, "I couldn't possibly guess why 6 Days in Fallujah is being revived at a time, and this is why going back to your original question, man." Of why is it coming up now? I couldn't possibly guess why 6 Days in Fallujah is being revived at a time when U.S. Army recruitment is at an all-time low. And that's where you start to see it. This reboot is from the same people that worked with the FBI and CIA on training systems and is basing its game on excusing war crimes. And then he shared a series of screenshots. Same with Destineer, which is Peter Tamps, the CEO of Highwire. His old company was developing, this is back in like 2005, was developing training simulators for the ICA and FBI titled, quote, Judgmental Shooting Simulator, end quote.
Okay.
Currently developing this was the description of those, currently developing narrative-driven games for using those simulators as a basis for mass market material. So the studio wanted to translate Fallujah's grueling combat in the same way. The goal of which was to make more effective training systems for the ICA and FBI.
Which is cool,
I guess. But I mean, if even these training systems don't have the full
right, totally
context of what's going on, then you have issues too. And then
that's what doesn't make sense really about them using this as any sort of training method. That's like way out in my opinion. You know what I mean? That's
I agree.
Way out. Yeah.
Yeah. And so then there's like quotes from other people who are also critiquing the game, saying, Stop the War Coalition peace group has actively opposed the game, saying glorifying the Fallujah massacre is sick. This is a widely shared view. It is estimated that up to 1,000 civilians died in the bombardment and house-to-house raids carried out by invading troops. So many people were killed in Fallujah that the town's football stadium had to be turned into a cemetery to cope with all the dead bodies.
Right.
Two more quotes. To make a game out of a war crime and to capitalize on the death and injury of thousands is sick, and there will never be a time when it is appropriate for people to play at committing atrocities. And like, also you think about it, this is a game that they're profiting off of. Like at
100%. It's for a studio made it. They're looking for monetary return on it. This is not a freebie for education value or anything.
Free market, ladies and gentlemen.
It sure is. It sure is.
Yeah. That's all I have to say.
I don't really have much else to say about it. You covered a lot. There's a lot of, you can go on Twitter and look up 6 Days in Fallujah, and there's a lot of opinions. There's a lot of opinions from a lot of different people. At the end of the day, if this was an unbiased game and that showed sides of this true story that had some sort of educational real life value to it, then I would be very interested to play it, since it seems like this is a very one-sided thing that ignores a lot of the real life consequences that this event had. I think I'm probably just not going to play it, or not going to support it.
Speak with your wallets, gamers.
Yeah, but I think these people get it. I would assume that the developers are finally trying to understand this, because it's the second time that this is getting shut down. This game's getting canceled for the second time. Or not canceled, but like cancel cultured. You know what I'm talking about? Like, and I hate to say that. It's bullshit. I hate cancel. It's fucking stupid. But anyways, yeah, crazy. So if you want more details, you can just go on Twitter. Take a scroll. Take a scroll.
Take a scroll. Take a scroll.
Remember, don't doom scroll though. Okay, it's not good for your mental health. Get some self-care in there. Okay, eat a block of Parmesan. That's what I did today.
Light a candle.
Light a candle. Take a bath. God bless you. Have some prosciutto. Okay, we're moving on to the next story. We got a couple more stories before we wrap this show up, baby.
Yep.
Next up is the Call of Duty 2021. Yeah, 2021 Call of Duty rumor, baby. It's going to be set in World War II, apparently, according to this rumor.
Again?
Which is stupid. And it's Sledgehammer Games again. So Sledgehammer's last Call of Duty was World War II, which means they're back. They're like, let's just roll some assets and make some extra bucks.
Run it back. Run it back.
They said we can do this better. Because World War II is trash.
They said, no. Give us another run. I promise. Give us another one.
Sledgehammer CODs have not been great. I mean, they've been great paired with other studios, but by themselves, they've not been able to pull off a successful Call of Duty game, unless someone will prove me wrong.
Advanced Warfare.
Right. I did watch a little article or an interview with Troy Baker and how it was working with Kevin Spacey on Advanced Warfare. Very interesting, fascinating, if I will. Wow. Anyways, new rumor about the upcoming Call of Duty 2021 game has surfaced, which claims the leaked setting of the new title. The newest Call of Duty title is set to be releasing during Q4 of this year from Activision. No shit. Every Call of Duty launches Q4 of every year.
November, baby. Or was it
the known leaker, forget. No, it was November.
Yeah.
Known leaker Victor Z posted a couple tweets overnight suggesting some details on the setting for the 2021 COD game. In his tweets, he states that the 2021 game will be set during World War II era. His tweet included a hammer emoji, probably a reference to Sledgehammer Games, as the game's development studio and World War II cover art. Of course, this is just a rumor, and for now, not confirmed by Activision, so take it with a grain of salt. However, the leaker has been known to accurately leak information in the past, including Call of Duty leaks, such as the Black Ops Cold War reveal trailer back in August, and like a 10-second multiplayer preview, amongst other information, like random stuff. He's been pretty on it with leaks. So whoever he's got, he's built up some sort of leaking repertoire. So that might be a pass on the COD, ladies and gentlemen.
It's gonna be a pass for me.
Might be a pass. I've been really loving Cold War though. Been having a good time.
Wow. Okay.
Especially with League play. Me and Cheese and Chat right here, we've been going hard on League play. He might be carrying me. I might be ranked way higher than I should be because of him, but we're ranked.
I miss the days when we would go into duos on Modern Warfare.
Gunfight?
Yeah, we went to Gunfight.
James,
remember some of those nights we had?
Gunfight's back, and I miss playing with you.
Oh,
it's so much fun. Gunfight
we'd have nights where we'd
all
really
night
go off. Yeah.
We would. Absolutely incredible. We'd bring the PlayStation out to the living room, get the boys on who didn't even like video games to play with Gunfight with us.
It's true.
Man, James, let's just get another apartment, okay? I'm ready to go back. Let's go. F. Okay, take this next one, James. You know about this.
Bloober Team hints it could be working on Silent Hill, but there's a catch. It's not the only one.
F.
The Medium developer, Bloober Team, I can't say that name with a straight face, told GI.biz, we've been working for more than a year on another game project, another horror IP, and we're doing this with a very famous gaming publisher. He said, I can't tell you who, I can't tell you what the project is, but I'm pretty sure when people realize we're working on it, they will be very excited. This caused quite the stir, and there has been comments from Silent Hill composer Akira Yamaoka that he was also working with Bloober Team on additional work that did not only include work or music for the Medium. So this guy, Silent Hill composer, was making music for the Medium, but also other things working through from the same studio, Bloober Team. Yeah. However, there's another player in this game.
Who's the other player, James?
VGC, Video Games Chronicle, understands that Konami has already outsourced a Silent Hill project to a prominent Japanese developer, with the reveal due this summer. Either way, we're getting a Silent Hill reveal this year.
Will it be PT, baby? That's all I want. Just give me. Oh my God! Can you imagine they reveal Silent Hill, James, and they're like, "Surprise! We've remastered PT once again, adding new secrets for you to jump into." And they release that.
Have the rights?
Probably not. Probably not at all.
Wait, hold on. Konami outsourced the Silent Hill project to a prominent Japanese developer. If that's Hideo, it could be Hideo because he's a Japanese developer.
We're just reading this article from the other side. We're not reading this from the Konami side. We're reading this from the mystery developer side. Oh, baby. All right. I can get behind that.
So the bloomer boss, whose name is Babino.
Babiano.
Babiano, I don't know.
Babiano.
He suggested that the next games coming from the developer would place more emphasis on action, which I have like some qualms with, because the medium, it wasn't like that the action wasn't very good. It was that the horror wasn't very good and the storytelling wasn't very good.
So maybe they're playing off their strengths.
But no one really, I don't remember anyone praising the medium for its actions.
Okay,
so,
sure.
I just don't know.
Did anybody play the medium? Chat, if you play the medium, like, write something down. That way, and I'll read it, okay? Because I have no experience with the medium whatsoever. It's brand new.
But I hope they don't make Silent Hill into an action game if that's the case.
I hope not. Watch the playthrough. Does that count? Sure, cheese. That counts.
Yeah, sure.
Yeah.
That's all I got.
Okay.
I really hope we get Hideo Kojima working on Silent Hill again.
Me too. Me too. We can dream.
Would you even play it, Vin?
Nah, probably not. You're probably right. I'm really interested to see it more than anything, to be honest. Dude, I hate horror games. I'm so scared. I get so scared. I can't play them, bro. Spooky. I get scared for everything. All right. But I don't know. Silent Hill. We'll see. Anyways, next up, final story on the docket before random fun stuff. We have Valheim gets over 300,000 concurrent players in less than 2 weeks. This comes from GameSpot. The fantasy survival game Valheim is available in early access on Steam right now, and less than 2 weeks after it became available, the game is already soaring up the Steam charts. As of right now, it has more than 300,000 concurrent players and is beating out the likes of Rust, PlayerUnknown's Battlegrounds, PUBG, and Grand Theft Auto 5, which is crazy that it's still up here however many years after its release.
That's crazy.
A few days earlier, Valheim has already managed to sell 1 million copies on Steam. That was just after a week. And the game's cooperative focus and excellent user reviews likely contributed to its massive early success. Of more than 32,000 reviews listed on Steam, 96% are positive. Even for most popular games, God damn it, James, there are often a large number of detractors. Nothing said that it can't happen later, but especially for an early access game, the current ratio is extremely impressive. In chat, we have Grim Zebra saying, just got it today and it's great. Shinobi is playing right now. So we have some Valheim stands in chat right now. I would love to play some Valheim. I'm going to be completely honest. Your boy just got paid, so I think I'm going to buy it tonight. I might do it. We'll see. $20? And if they do the updates and stuff like that, and I know Riders put like 20 hours in the last 24 hours. So, I mean, homeboy is grinding. Wow. He's grinding. But that's it for main news tonight. But guys, it's time for everybody's favorite section of the show. Random fun stuff. Run the graphic,
get it, baby.
Just kidding. I still don't have a graphic. I'm going to say it every single week. Okay. Here's the name of the game. These random fun stuff are stories without a story. James and I go back and forth reading you a story that is like just a headline that you might think is important. You might not, but it's probably worth noting. Let's go for it. James, number 1 on random fun stuff.
Facebook rolls out multi-user support for Oculus Quest 2.
Epic Games' free games this week are Rage 2 and Absolute Drift.
For Honor gets Shovel Knight content.
Super random to me, but great.
Sure.
Rainbow Six Quarantine changes its name to Rainbow Six Parasite for obvious reasons.
Metro Exodus gets a next-gen version full of as-expected features like 4K textures, reduced loading times, available this year for free. Later this year. More details on metrothegame.com.
No Man's Sky receives a companion update featuring all kinds of new ways to interact with the game's wildlife as well as quality of life improvements. More details on No Man's Sky Twitter, but basically, James, you can have a pet dinosaur. That's all that matters.
That's all that matters. Overcooked All You Can Eat is available on PlayStation 4, Xbox One, and PC on March 23rd.
Is this Overcooked 2 All You Can Eat? Is this like a collector's edition?
3.
Oh my god, there's so many. Forget it.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, it's not even called Overcooked 3. It's called Overcooked All You Can Eat.
Yes.
Wow, they're moving up.
They just ditched the number and went for the subtitle.
God bless them. This is like To All the Boys Always in Forever, which we need to watch.
Yes, we do.
That would be a really fun Discord movie night. Oh my God.
Discord movie night.
All right, Boca Game Studio. I just got a notification that Ryder started playing Valheim right now. I love to see it on Steam. Boca Game Studio has released a video with Kiichiro Toyama, Silent Hill Gravity Rush creator, talking about his beginning and the first title of his new studio, which will be horror-oriented.
This could also be the Japan outsourced studio.
Japanese outsourced studio, yeah.
Yes, that's what I meant to say.
It's good.
Assassin's Creed Valhalla update adds new river raids mode and other improvements. Tons of gameplay smoothing stuff as well as performance stuff. You can read more about it on GameInformer.com.
Yeah, or the website. They have a bunch of patch notes. So if you're a big Valhalla person, you're still playing it, you should probably read these because there's like some important changes that are pretty sweet. This was big. This week we got an Avengers War table. And so I guess it was big, but nothing really happened in it, and it was kind of lame. But Marvel's Avengers will release on PS5 and Xbox Series X and S in March 2021 alongside the Hawkeye update. In which, you guys, we did a live reaction to this that is now up on YouTube, and we had a lot of fun with it. Even though there wasn't a lot of cool stuff announced, we had a great time. So if you want to check that video out, it's up on youtube.com/strictlycasual, which is super fun. That's going to wrap up episode 52, you guys.
Let's go.
Let's go, baby. Thank you guys so much for hanging out with us, especially those of you who are here on Twitch right now. If you're listening on audio platforms later, we appreciate you so much. If you're on Twitch, stick around for a minute because we'll be chilling out with you guys in the post show. Just a quick minute. Also, this is huge. This is big. We've been doing a weekly WandaVision reaction on Strictly Casual, and it has been so much fun. Mr. Hollywood or Ryder has been putting in a bunch of work. So tonight, as of recording this, or if you're listening to this on audio platforms, it's already out. We will have our reaction and review of the latest episode of WandaVision out when you're watching this. So head over to YouTube, check that baby out. James, always looking like a snack. Do you have anything to say before we end this episode?
Love you guys. You guys are incredible.
Absolutely incredible. Episode 52, great success, baby. Let's run this outro, and I'll see you for the post show in just a minute.